today. It's my honor. By the way, my name is Amy Simon. I'm an instructor in the College of Business and Industry, and it's my honor to introduce Ms. Jeren Tolegova. She is one of our star students within the College of Business. It's true. We love all of our students, but some are just extra special. She's majoring in economics, and she took this research up on her own, and I'm honored just to be here by her side and have the honor to introduce her. So, without further ado, Ms. Jeren Tolegova.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for being here today. My name is Jeren Tolegova. I am a junior, double majoring in economics and computer science, and today I will be presenting a case study which was one of the main projects that I have completed during the internship. And the main idea of this case study is to understand how the big corporations and companies are analyzing their investment decisions whenever they want to make a strategic move within entering a new market within the business. So the name of the project is Navigating New Horizons, a strategic analysis of Walmart's prospective entry into the Southeast Asian market with a spotlight on Indonesia. So after carefully considering the countries in Southeast Asia, especially 11 countries, I decided to move on with Indonesia because of the main two specific factors, which is the GDP growth and the population. So based on these two factors, I have decided to move on with Indonesia because it has 277 million residents, which is a big amount of population for the new market entrance. Indonesia's GDP is also estimated to grow to $1.15 trillion in 2023, and it is 16th largest economy in the world by the nominal GDP, meaning that Indonesia right now stands on the 16th place in the world by the contribution to the global economy by its production. So over the trailing 5 years, Indonesia's GDP has also grown at the average rate of 5.2%, which is an incredible indicator because the average growth within the countries in the Southeast Asia is 4.5%, which is a statistics provided by the International Monetary Fund. If we look at the graph, we can see that starting from 2014 and 2015, Indonesia was experiencing a linear growth with its GDP. However, in 2020 it dropped. Yet in the all economies, the 2020 was an outlier case, which is why it is not taken into consideration as much. And we can also see that compared to the other countries, Indonesia has a notably bigger growth within the GDP, which makes up 5.3%. It is higher than Malaysia and Thailand, which are the main competitors of Indonesia in Southeast region. Yet Vietnam has a higher statistic, 6.2%. However, its nominal GDP doesn't even reach $400 billion, and Indonesia has 1.15 trillion. One point that we have to mention that China and US, they already considered to be established economies, which is why growing their GDP by a bigger percentage is more challenging year by year. Sorry, I jumped over the slide. So market entry strategy. In order to enter a new market, they have to implement a specific strategy and the steps. And the very first is to consider how they will be making that entrance. Looking at the competition within Southeast Asia and Indonesia, we have decided to move forward to acquire a majority stake in an existing business. The main competitor within supermarkets and the hypermarkets in Indonesia is MPPPA company. It has 130 locations. However, if we recall the fact that Indonesia has 277 million residents, they still do not meet the demand of the suppliers, which is why Walmart still has a very big space to tap into the business. Adapting to the local Indonesian culture, it encompasses the core values of respect, harmony, and politeness, and leading the business, Walmart has to consider all of these three main factors. Religion is also a very important factor, because all of the globalized countries of the Walmart's business, which is Mexico, Germany, India has only online and e-commerce chain of Walmart. they all are from the different demographic populations. Indonesian population is mainly Muslim, so they will have to take into consideration the supply chain and the product integration to the local stores. Utilizing Indonesia's e-commerce market as an advantage, right now, Indonesia has a very booming e-commerce business, and this is also another main important factor for Walmart to consider because they can tap into that opportunity as well, considering that Walmart is already established business and they have already their established technological advances, and they can leverage those unique opportunities that they have in order to expand their consumer base within Indonesia. Partnering with local organizations for compliance and regulatory guidance. We all know that every country has their own political system, and Walmart has to consider the new rules and the regulations of Indonesia before making any strategic moves. In 2007, when Walmart was entering Germany, they had some issues and they were almost taken into court. So in order to avoid the cases like that from happening, they have to make an intensive research with the local companies. And this is my favorite slide because this shows everything that I just said in the numbers. It is a financial analysis. In order to come up with the numbers and make projections, I utilized a fact sector and Bloomberg terminal and researched the financial statements of the main competitors of Walmart in Indonesia and looked up all the financial indicators within those companies to benchmark the main margins and the financial indicators. So for example, the financial performance, the expenses, sales, and gross profit, they were all taken as projections after the comparison to the other companies which are already existing in Indonesia. However, before making the projections for the financial performance of the company, we have to calculate the initial investments. To calculate the initial investment, I looked at the Lulu Group, which is a Saudi Arabian company that established 10 hypermarkets in 2017, and it built 10 hypermarkets, and each of them is 200 square feet, which is the similar size of the Walmart's supercenters. Adjusting the inflation rate from 2017 to nowadays, that would have costed Walmart approximately $370 million, including the labor, permits, legal and regulatory compliance. The total initial investments would have been $370.3 million. Financial performance. We can see from the graph that the more Walmart expands its business within Indonesia, the better return it's going to get, which is called to be an economies of scale. We see that the expenses grow tenfold, the sales also grow tenfold, but the gross profit also is showing a very positive indicator when Walmart expands its business from 10 stores to 100. With the 10 stores, the market share will make up 0.5% in Indonesia because the retail industry within supermarkets and the hypermarkets in Indonesia is valued to be $7.8 billion, and the market share with the 100 stores, it will already grow to 5.5%, and approximately within 20-25 years, it is projected, those are just projections, that the Walmart can make up 30-40% of the hypermarket and supermarket retail industry. Looking at those financial indicators, we can calculate the margins, the profitability margins of the business of Walmart within Indonesia. Those are the main indicators that every investor is trying to look at because they will show how profitable Walmart will be. The main number that I want to highlight on is the profit margin, that with the 10 stores, Walmart will not be making any profits. They will be just on the negative. However, the more they grow their business, they will start growing that margin to 25%. And there are benefits and risks associated with this strategic move. Diversification and expansion of the markets is one of them. It is very integral to consider that the world right now in business is very globalized, and Walmart is being one of the first initial businesses that will keep growing and expanding its brand, will give them the power of the who came first to the playground. Optimization of the supply chain operations. Having one more additional country in their supply chain can reduce the costs of the operation of the supply chain. Expansion of e-commerce business. Walmart is very focused on the online channel, meaning that you can, as a consumer, you can get an in-person experience, you can have the online shopper experience, and integrating both strategies in a new market can give them the benefit of expanding their e-commerce business as well. Local partnership will give them an opportunity to get the insights information on how to operate in the new market, and it will also help them to establish their brand name. Some of the risks associated with the strategic move would be cultural barriers and misalignments, industry rivalry. Cultural barrier and misalignments is a very important factor to look into because the demographic population of Indonesia is very different than the rest of the established consumer base of Walmart. Industry rivalry, as we already saw in the previous slides, the MPPK already has 130 hypermarkets. However, with the growing middle-class consumers in Indonesia, they can still have a lot of space to tap into the business. Inefficient resource allocation can be the risk for Walmart because of the location of Indonesia. Local partnership challenges and legal regulations, they are the potential risks. However, they can all be resolved with the help of the consulting services of the local business regulatory environment. And these are some of the charts that I have created while using the information for the financial analysis slide. As we can see, Indonesia is outperforming in a lot of the sectors. And this graph, mainly what it shows is that the GDP of Indonesia, which is the main economic factor that shows the health of the country, the health of the economic health of the country, we can see that Indonesia has been always showing the main competitive advantage compared to the other countries in that region. And that's it. And if you have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them.
I think we have time for 2 questions.
I'd be curious, did you get the sense, or do you know what the appetite from the Indonesian people and government is for Walmart to come in? Because sometimes it's not very welcoming.
Yeah, that's a very good question. That information was in the slide, but I didn't mention it. So starting from 1990s, the government of Indonesia started growing into a more democratic system, meaning that the population of Indonesia also started having a bigger proportion of the middle and the upper middle class. And having a bigger size of the middle and the upper middle class population means that it is a bigger consumer base for Walmart. So there will be customers. The population is 277 million, and if we take that into consideration, at least 30% of that population is a middle class. It is already a big market for Walmart to come into. I hope it answers your question.
Yes.
Any other question for Jeren? No? If not, let's thank Jeren one more time.